You've learned your Buzzsaw flowers. Now what comes next? Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, we're drilling down what comes next after you get down those Buzzsaw flowers. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow DNA, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. And a special thanks to the first non-business friend of the channel, Johnny Howard. Thanks so much for your support, Johnny. I'm sure you know the feeling. You've learned a brand new poi trick, and now you're kind of curious, what is the next step that you can take with it? Sometimes that means learning some new tricks, and sometimes that means that there are some variations on what you just learned that might be some low-hanging fruit. Well, this series is the one for you. And this particular video is a request from Dimitri Launtzis. There is absolutely zero chance that I'm pronouncing that right, but Dimitri really wanted to see a video on different variations of the Buzzsaw flower. So, I'm hooking you up, Dimitri. This isn't really a tutorial or a combo per se. It's somewhere in between. It's meant to show you what the possibilities are once you get down a particular trick. So first up, just a little bit of a disclaimer. This is going to be a little different from some of the other What Comes Next videos that I've done, specifically because Buzzsaw flowers open up a kind of progression with a bunch of different ideas that is just so good that it's impossible for me to let it go. So rather than teaching you 3 straight up variations on this trick, I'm instead going to show you where it can take you in terms of developmental stuff and in terms of kind of raising the level of your general poi spinning indeed. So let's check it out. First up, Buzzsaw flowers are one of those tricks wherein the steps that you go through in order to learn how to do them actually wind up looking pretty cool in and of themselves. In particular, I really like breaking out each hand individually to go do an anti-spin flower while the other hand is just kind of hanging out in static spin at the side. Which, this is actually usually a stepping stone in learning how to do Buzzsaw flowers, but at the same time, it functions really well as a build-up to doing Buzzsaw flowers. That is, if you start off by having one hand go around and then the other hand going around and then putting together the full Buzzsaw fountain, all of a sudden, like, it looks like something that clicks into place for the audience, and I really like that. I think quite often about how we can kind of set up audience expectations with different poi tricks, and then pay them off with something that feels really satisfying based upon the information that we've given them. This is definitely a sterling example of this in action. Check this one out. Alright, so next up, we are going to take a look at one of my favorite hybrids of all time. That's right, it is an anti-spin versus in-spin hybrid with your arms in split time opposites. This is a VTG hybrid that I use constantly and that I personally think just looks utterly satisfying on every level. It's one of those things that I don't think people are actually aware of the fact that they're picking up that the timing and direction in the poi is one thing while the timing and direction in the hands is another thing. So what exactly does this have to do with Buzzsaw flowers? So here's the thing, when we're doing Buzzsaw flowers, our hands are moving around in together same, while the poi are moving around in split time same direction. Now, depending upon your reading of it, this could be considered a hybrid. Now, if you're moving your hands around in split time opposites, while your poi are moving in split time same direction, this is also a hybrid. So it's a really easy transition to go back and forth between together same and split time opposites. And the learning that you have accrued in order to do your Buzzsaw flower is also going to work here too. I'm a big fan of this transition back and forth, kind of for the same reason that the previous example worked too. That is, it feels like you're deconstructing and then reconstructing a particular move, and I just think that looks really cool for the audience. So before I share with you my final pick for what comes next after you learn Buzzsaw flowers, I have a favor to ask. If you've come this far, it probably means that you're into poi tricks and flow arts in general, and if that's the case, I would really appreciate it if you would be willing to subscribe to my channel. Not only does this help my channel grow and help other people find it, but it also means that you'll be the first to know when I upload a new video. Also, pretty please send me your requests for tricks that I can cover in future installments of What Comes Next down in the comments. Thanks in advance. And now, that final variation on the Buzzsaw flower, yeah, it's kind of a lot of variations actually. So here's the thing, all of that knowledge that you've accrued on how to do Buzzsaw flowers with your hands in together same are going to apply to a whole bunch of different shapes and hybrids that work in different timing and direction modes as well. In fact, the knowledge that you have here is going to be super helpful for getting back and forth between all of the timing and direction modes. All right, I know that this feels a little bit like trying to eat an elephant in one bite, but stick with me here, because the basic knowledge here is just that if you start in together same, you can easily switch to split time opposites, and then switch to split time same direction, and then switch to together opposites before finally landing back in together same. You're really just working your way around the timing and direction modes like they're the circle of fifths. Now, the thing is that now that you know how to do those buzzsaw flowers, you're able to go through each and every one of these different modes without having to stop the poi from moving. Pretty cool, huh? This is honestly a drill that I started doing myself within my first couple of years of spinning poi as I was getting down my timing and direction. It's a really, really helpful way of thinking about how flowers kind of interrelate with each other, whether they be 4-petal anti-spins or 2-petal in-spins. They all link together if you just happen to be moving your hands in the right way. And those, dear friends, are my 3 suggestions for what comes next after you learn your buzzsaw flowers. And of course, real quick, I just want to throw out a huge thank you because this video would not be possible without the kind contributions of these wonderful folks right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the wonderful people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. If you would like to sign up to help me in my mission of bringing poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world, giving people permission to move and connect with their brains and their bodies as creative individuals, you can do so by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. There you can get early access to all of my content, as well as a say in what topics I tackle in the future, plus some extras and behind the scenes content as well. So go check that out. Please and thank you. All right, so did I cover your favorite variation on the buzzsaw flower? Did I leave some out that I shouldn't have? Let me know down in the comments. And of course, send me your requests for what I should cover in this series next. Also, please check out a playlist of other videos in the What Comes Next series. I will leave a link to that down in the description, as well as you can click on a link to it up here on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Please be sure to get out and flow today, and I will see you with a new video on Monday. Peace.